What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today we have a very much anticipated comparison video of the RS660 from Aprilia versus the Yamaha R7. Both parallel twins, both very similar in handling, but let's actually compare features, capabilities, and price. Let's go. Before we get into today's video, if you're new around here and you like this kind of content, don't forget to hit the subscribe, the like, do the things that help me out as I'm building the channel. And if you are here from one of my other social media platforms, thank you, as always, for supporting the content. And now, today's video. Get started right off the bat. You can tell the instrument cluster on the Aprilia RS660 is, I mean, this is a luxury sport bike by all intents and purposes. You can see right on the screen there's a ton of information. We got a ton of stuff being thrown at us, lights blinking, lights flashing. Obviously the bike's not on yet, but you know, we have all kinds of different modes. This bike, just right off the rip, compared to the R7, has a ton more of your feature set. Different riding modes, traction controls, wheelie control, cruise control, quick shift up and down. The R7 basically bone stock right there. So tech wise, the 660 is going to blow the R7 out of the water right off the rip. But again, does that actually translate to a better riding experience for people that are in this kind of size range market? I like the way the Aprilia screen looks. I like the way it pops up and kind of has a lot of information. Obviously this is a race built bike. It has track mode versus riding mode, and then the individual modes where you can go in and adjust everything from your engine braking to your traction control. I mean, completely customizable to your riding style and what you're actually doing on the road. So that is super cool. Looks wise, just in general, I think that they're very, very similar. Like, I like the way this bike looks, especially in this colorway. The lava red is very, very stunning. It looks amazing on the road. The front wheel is orange, the back wheel is black. It looks great, but I also, maybe I'm a little partial, I love the way the R7 looks. But anyways, let's get this out on the road and we'll talk about actual specs and power. Alright, so we talked technology, we talked specs. Again, the R7 is a very stripped down version of a sport bike. It is the best, in my opinion, still mid-size sport bike for someone who just wants an all-around good quality mid-range bike that you can do everything with, whether you're a stunt rider, whether you're a track rider, commuter, just general hobbyist, whatever it might be. I still think for the price point, the R7 is going to be the best bang for your buck. However, the tech that you get in this for the little bit of the additional price, right? It's honestly, it's hard to make the argument why you wouldn't just jump up a little bit. Parallel twin, right, has a little bit less cc, so 659 cc's in this versus the 689 of the R7. So a little difference there. However, this has about 30 more horsepower. So this comes in right around 100 horsepower. The R7's right around that 73, 74. So 25, 30 horsepower more in the 660, right? Same amount of torque. But as you saw, this thing with that extra 25 horsepower, it rips. Now, if you don't know, if you're not aware, or if you don't follow racing, this coming year, one of the Moto America or something, one of those, I can't remember the name of it, but anyways, doesn't matter. They're switching to the CP2 engine primarily for one of their race leagues. So you're going to see a lot of this bike, the R7, this parallel twins. They have so much power and torque. They're really fun to throw around, really fun to ride. And so you're going to see a lot more of that coming back, I think, right? So that's an aside. Price point wise, the MSRP is just around 11.5 here versus just under 10, 9,400 for the R7. So you got another $2,000-ish that you're stepping up, but you're getting so many of those features. Like I mentioned, all of the features in the cluster, the individual adjustments for your different riding modes and your traction control. This thing even has the adaptive headlights. When you lean into a curve or you're going around a bend, the headlights will actually point further into the curve where you're looking. I mean, just little things like that that make this yeah, that luxury feel. It's an Aprilia. It's not a Yamaha. I will shade the Yamaha. You know I love Yamaha. But we're doing an honest side-by-side comparison. The first thing I noticed when I got on this bike was how comfortable it feels. The seat right down here where it's tucked in between my legs and on my butt in the back, it almost feels like you're wedged in. I'm getting support back there. I'm not moving. And in the front where my thighs are gripping the tank, because of the ergonomics of the tank, I actually feel incredibly tucked up in this bike. And versus the R7 where it's not uncomfortable, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like you are part of the bike in the same way. So like I am like really tucked up under this wedge shape of the tank, and that feels really good. So that's just right off the rip, way more comfortable in my opinion. More comfortable seating position. You almost feel like you're sitting a little bit more upright on this bike. Just in general, the design, I feel like I'm not hunched over. R7 leans a little bit more towards that traditional like super sport where you feel like you always have to kind of tuck. I will say that because of the more upright seating position on this bike, I feel like I'm getting a lot more wind, taking a lot more wind to the chest versus on the R7, but it's hard to kind of, you know, go back and forth and feel the same kind of conditions. It could be just extra windy today. I don't know. It's kind of cold. All right. Anyway, so price is a little bit more expensive. Features, oh, in my opinion, get so much more for that extra oomph, that extra 2K, if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for all of those little extras, maybe you're a little bit more than a hobbyist, or you want something that is very racy, that you can put it in track mode and go that way. What I really would like to do, and what I will do eventually, is when we go to the tail of the Dragon this year, I'll be comparing both of them actually on a more twisty track style road where I can really feel out the bike. But power delivery on the 660 feels really smooth. Really smooth going up through first, second, and third, where on the R7 you have a ton of torque instantly, but it kind of rounds out and feels a little flat after about second and a half into third gear. So that's definitely something that I've noticed, and I feel like that the extra 25 horsepower plays into that factor a lot. So that's just that. So what else we got? We talked about tech, we talked about price. I mean, again, looks, personal preference, but I think that this livery crushes the stock R7. My R7 is beautiful. I mean, I wrapped it, so you know, it is what it is. But stock wise, I feel like this, you can't beat an Italian bike. As you can see, I already put ASV levers on this. I did a tidy tail, so we've done a couple things to it already, and you know, remove the rear sets, that kind of stuff. And it looks wise, I think it looks stunning. But again, personal preference there. One thing I will say is that even though this is a parallel twin, because it does have that little bit of extra power, your rear brake is merely there for looks, it feels like. Coming to a stop, like when you're stomping on it, it barely does anything. It's really only for those low speeds that balance and just an extra little bit when you're progressive braking. This bike is primarily front brake heavy, and whenever you're slowing down or you're heading into a corner and need to compress the forks, front brake, I mean, you're really not even touching the rear. Like right now I'm doing 40. If I hit the rear, like I'm hitting it, oh, we went down 1 mile an hour. I'm hitting it harder, 36. Like, it's a lot like the 636 in that way, whereas on the R7, the rear brake, I mean, you can come to a complete stop with the rear brake. It has a lot of power back there. So I don't know if that's a plus or a minus in the column for you, but that's just an observation. We're gonna get it up to a little bit of speed here and see how it feels in full tuck, and then I'm gonna kind of make my end-all be-all observation for the comparison. And you guys can decide what you think from there. So this bike has a quick shifter up and down, and I don't want to use it. I think that quick shifters on bikes take out 80% of the fun of riding a motorcycle. I don't like it. Everyone says, why don't you use a quick shifter? Just quick shift. No, I don't think so. I want to zip. I want to use a clutch. So another point into the comfortability and stability of the motorcycle. At higher speeds, higher than highway speeds, I should say, it feels really stable. It still feels really comfortable. It definitely has that two-cylinder lack of high-end power, right? Once you hit past the third or fourth, but it's definitely not a dog, for sure. It definitely rips. I think that the stock sound of the exhaust is terrible, but isn't every bike, right? I don't think that that could be a detractor, because I think that in general every stock exhaust sounds terrible, and it's personal preference there as well, just like the looks. But just from a practical standpoint, comfortability, I think RS660 takes the cake. Obviously tech takes the cake. Power, I mean, it is extra and it's there, but, and again, in the CP2, in this parallel twin, I don't think that it's necessary. I don't know. I don't think that having the extra 25 is really that big a deal, just from what I've seen so far. So I would say that that's a tie. Price point, the R7 takes it, but you lose the tech, so I feel like that's kind of a wash. Realistically, I need to take it through the twisties and really see how it feels, because this is such a track-focused setup, you know, with the options of the modes and stuff. But in general, my thoughts on this motorcycle are going to be that if you're looking for that mid-range, high-end, lots of features, lots of tech, lots of rider assist, this is the way to go. I mean, for that extra 2K that you're going to spend compared to the R7, if you're comparing the two, you know, I think this is going to take it. I still think, however, all of that if you're looking for the best budget bike, the R7 is going to be your go-to. But when you're spending 10K, you know, you could probably spend 13 too, right? That's my thoughts. Let me know what you think. If you have one, if you're thinking about getting one, if you have one or the other, down in the comments. And hope you enjoyed the video and the chat, and enjoy this beautiful day. Until next time, be safe.